Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me on my YouTube channel. Tonight, I will be sharing with you part two of a five-part series titled Living in a Creative Structure. And tonight, we're talking about understanding the creative structure. Part one was about acknowledging the problem structure. And if you have not already seen that, please go back into my YouTube channel and you will see the presentation there. It was delivered last week. And it really goes into more in depth on the problem structure, which is something that you really need to understand before you can get into the creative structure. A lot of it is a really big shift, something that we've been conditioned to do since we were children, because the problem structure is very prevalent in society, and we are pretty much bombarded with it everywhere we go. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and share with you the presentation tonight on behalf of the Magical Mind. And there's my screen. So we're talking about living in a creative structure, part two, understanding creative structure. So I have some questions for you. Have you ever wished for more money and wonder why you still do not have it? Maybe you've wished for a relationship and you wonder why you're still single. How about health? Have you ever wished for health and wonder why you are sick? Maybe you wish to be productive, but you wonder why you still procrastinate. Or maybe you're like me and you wish to be calm and you wonder why are you still anxious in many situations. And before we go further, I want to talk about what is consciousness. This is something that I like to talk about in every presentation I deliver because it's very important for you to understand exactly what consciousness is. And consciousness is awareness. In simple terms, it is where your focus is. And as many of us that study the law of attraction, you know that the law of attraction works from focus. Whatever you focus on is exactly what the energy you're giving. The law of attraction is what you're going to get more of. So your consciousness is simply what you're aware of at any given moment. Now here's the catch. Here's the tricky part. You might not be aware of what you think you're being aware of. And that's part of the problem structure, what we're going to talk about tonight, and shifting into the creative structure. Because when you're aware of a problem and you're generating solution from that problem, your focus is on the problem. It's not on the solution like you think it is. The solution feels good because it's fixing something that you think you don't want, but then at the end of the day, you're still focusing on what you do not want. So it's really important for you to understand where your consciousness really is and what's being created. Now, you might think, I want more money. I want a relationship. I want to be healthy. I want to be productive. I want to be calm because, and the reason is where the focus is. I am currently experiencing the opposite, and I noticed it. That's where your focus is. Your focus is not what you're trying to create in this point. Your focus is not that you want more money. Your focus is on the fact that you don't have money and you're trying to find ways to get more. This means that your awareness is on what you do not want. This is really what's being created. It's not the more money that you think it is, even though it does appear into your reality sometimes, but it will never be enough. And it's the same thing with being single and in a relationship. You may think that you're creating a relationship, but what you're really creating is the fact that you're single and you're going to stay single because you go into a relationship and you find out it's not really what you want. So then it doesn't work out. You find a different relationship. That doesn't work out. And you do a different relationship. And the cycle keeps completing until you're alone again because all of your focus is on what you don't want. So in essence, I want this because now that's where your focus is. I do not want that. All of your power is in I do not want that. Your primary focus is on lack, what you do not want, while getting ideas to create what you do want. And a lot of what society says, focus on solution, not problem. And one thing that I've learned is when you're focusing on solution, you're still focusing on the problem. Why? Because the solution cannot exist without the problem. It's what you're trying to fix. It's the only reason you got a solution in the first place is because it's from a problem. So because of that, the lack or the problem will always prevail. You'll always go back to the problem. You might get a different solution because you're thinking that you have to try different things. So for example, let's say that you don't have enough money, so you go and get a job. And then when you get the job, you realize, well, I need more money. Maybe I'll get promoted. Or you get promoted and then you decide, no, I really do need more money. Okay, let me try opening up a new business. So then you quit your job and you go and open up a business. But then when you go and open up a business, you realize, I still don't have enough. And the reality of it is it will never be enough because you came from a problem and you were working on a solution to something that you're trying to avoid. You are in the problem structure. You are giving the power away to conditions and circumstances that you want to avoid rather than focusing on what you wish to create. You're giving your power to the external circumstances that you're trying to avoid. So if you don't want to be broke, you go find a job. All of your power is in not being broke. You don't want to be single, you go get a relationship. All of your power is in not being single. You're giving power to what it is you're avoiding. You're giving power to your resistance. So then where that power is exactly what's being created. And it's very interesting because when we focus on solutions, it feels good, right? It feels like we're doing something. It feels like we're creating something. But then if that was the case, then why do you still not have it? Why is it that years and years later we're still single? Or years and years later, we still don't have money in our bank account? We have some for a little while and then it goes away. And this is the reason. It's the problem structure. It's a structure you're in. You get what you think about whether you want it or not, period. And this is a really neat quote from Brian Tracy that said, you are not what you think you are, but you are what you think. And it's very interesting and a twist of words to really think about it. So what you think you are, everything that all is in your thought. So you get what you think about whether you want it or not. So if you're worrying, that's exactly what you're getting. If you don't like being single, that's exactly what you're getting. If you don't like being broke, that's exactly what you're getting. So the key here is to really be okay with where you are. You have to be okay with where you are because here's what's happening. When you are focusing on a problem structure, you start here, you're unsatisfied. You're an individual here that says, I don't have enough money and I want to have something different. I want to have something better. And that's typically how the rest of the world works. You identify what you don't want and you decide, I'm going to do this to make it better. Because if I'm over here, it's going to be a lot better. I don't like being broke. So if I go over here, be rich, my life is going to be a lot better. So you just make that decision that over here, this person that has a lot of money, it's better than the reality that I'm in now where I don't have enough money. So then what happens is you take action to get to the desired state. So you take action to go get more money. You take action to go find a relationship. You take some kind of action that you believe would help you get closer to where you want to go. But then what happens is the minute you take action, you start to experience resistance to that action. So if you're looking for another relationship and you go on a date, start thinking, am I good enough for this date, or is this date actually really good for me? What if? And maybe you decide, yeah, that date didn't go so well. So then you take some action to stop the resistance. You decide not to date that person anymore. Or maybe you're in a job and you decide to change jobs. Or maybe you decide to get a promotion and you decide you want to open up a company. Whatever it is, you're taking action, you get resistance, and then you take action to solve that resistance. So if that date wasn't good enough, you go on another date. And when you go on another date, it actually feels good to go on another date because you feel like you're making progress. Eventually, I'll get there. Eventually, I'll make enough money. If I do this, I know I'm going to make enough money. So I'm going to try this. And here's the thing, there's an infinite number of ways that you can try to solve a problem. And you're going to go right back to being unsatisfied. And you'll always be in there. It could take years, it could take as much time as you want, because the structure that you're in will never allow you to get from unsatisfied to satisfied. It's the structure. And the problem structure will never allow you to get there. You're self-sabotaging yourself every step of the way, thinking that it's getting better. You're kidding yourself. We're all kidding ourselves here. The law of attraction is working against us in this case. And this is the part that it's an idea that's incomplete because it doesn't matter how many affirmations, mantras you chant, or how long you meditate. Because if you're doing it to get something, so for example, if you don't have enough money, you decide, I'm going to meditate and get my energy up there, get my vibration up so I can attract more money. Your power is in the problem. Your power is in the fact that you don't have enough money. So you're doing something to get a solution. And the law of attraction will work for a little bit because you're giving it energy, but it's manual energy and it runs out. So you give it manual energy, and then all of a sudden you go right back to where you were in the beginning. And it happens so many times that it becomes extremely frustrating, and you start to wonder, maybe it's me. And you have to wonder, if it really is you, though, wouldn't there be more people out there that have solved it? It's not just you, it's a structure. It's a structure that we're in. So when you're solving a problem, you're taking action to have something go away. But you have to remember that by observing the problem, your consciousness is on the problem, your awareness is on the problem. You bring it into reality. It can never go away. And this is why you cannot even focus on solution, because even focusing on solution, you're still in the problem structure. You still have a problem in the whole situation. It can never go away. You can never have a solution without the problem. And here's the part that gets really interesting, because a lot of people wonder, well, how am I supposed to do it? Because that's all you really know, honestly. That's all we've been trained to do since we were children. And even now as adults, we see it everywhere in our society. And here's the thing. To get into the creative structure is where the magic happens. This is where you want to be. When you are creating, you are taking action to have something come into being. You're not taking action to make something go away. You're taking action to create something, to bring it into being because you love it, because you want to see it created. This is what you really want. This is the creative loop. So we walked over the sabotage loop. And the self-sabotage loop, the person of the current reality does not equal the person in the desired reality, because the person in the current reality believes that the future is better. And here's the thing, the future is not better, it's just different. And that's where we have to really get into the space of, okay, right now in this moment, I am satisfied with the experience that I had. It might not be an experience you'd like. It might be an experience that you really want to change. But by not liking the experience, you're judging it. You're saying this is bad. This is a bad experience, and I want to have a good experience. And you've got to be able to take the judgment out. Because here's the thing. When you find gratitude where you are, when you get yourself into that realization of, I am satisfied where I am, I just want something different. I want to be able to experience something different. Think about it like a movie. If you're a character in a movie playing a role, you could decide, okay, I did that role. Now I would like to try a different role. Let me try the lead role. Let me see how that feels. You're not judging the situation good or bad. You just want to try something different. So I give you one example that's a really good example, a personal example of mine. So I'm on a journey to improve my hearing, which is something science says impossible, but I'm actually living it. I'm actually living that reality right now. And just the other night, when I go to bed, I do not wear my hearing aids at night. And just the other night, I did not have my hearing aids in. I heard snoring. I heard snoring, y'all. And for anyone out there, snoring is not something that you want to hear when you're trying to go to sleep. But for me, it was something I had never heard before outside of my hearing aids, and I'm hearing it without my hearing aids, and I have profound hearing loss. It was 98% for many, many, many years, and it has improved over the last 6 months just from doing this process. And what I'm trying to get with this example is, when I heard the snoring, Instead of wishing that it would go away, I actually had gratitude. I had gratitude for something that I was hearing that I never heard before. And so what that did for me is it brought me a newfound gratitude for my whole condition, because for a long time, I was very unhappy that I was hearing impaired. I did not want to be hearing impaired. I wanted to hear. And I spent my entire life in a problem structure trying to hear. And since I've been practicing the creative structure, suddenly I understood I would not have been able to appreciate snoring and go to sleep like a baby had I not been experiencing the experience I have now. So while I wish I have a different experience, I really wish I could hear. I'm actually quite satisfied with where I am now, which is a place I had never been before. And from this space, now I'm able to create. I'm able to create more hearing, hopefully to the point where I may not need my hearing aid. So this would be the process. I am 100% satisfied, or you're 100% satisfied of where you are right now in this moment. You have gratitude for however it's taken you to get here, whatever you've done that's gotten you here. You have gratitude for who you are in this moment. No matter what happened, no matter if it's painful, no matter if you're in a situation where you're broke and you wish you had more money, whatever it is, you've created it to this point. Be grateful that you're a creator. And now you can, because you're satisfied with where you are, now you can look forward and create differently. So now you're going to choose your desire. I choose to have more money. I choose to have a loving, compassionate relationship. Choose to desire where you want to be. And decide that you're going to have it. Decide that it's yours. And then once you make that decision and you decide that it's yours, then you go into a visualization. And you visualize with emotion. And you have to have the emotion. The emotion is the part that gives the gas pedal to the law of attraction. Without emotion, you will not go anywhere. So you got to get yourself into the experience that you're trying to create in your imagination. Imagine yourself already there with your vision already being complete. And what would be the emotion you're experiencing? Is it happiness? Is it joy, satisfaction, gratitude? And once you get there, then at that point, your body is going to resonate with that person in the future. That's the same person that you are now, but it's just a different reality. It's not better, it's just different. Another way to help explain it, there are stories out there of millionaires or billionaires that have decided on their own to sell everything and to go with nothing. You hear about them. They sell their home, they sell their assets, they get rid of it all the money, everything. And they decide to be completely poor, and they're going to walk across the United States. Maybe some of them only have a bag over their shoulder. And if you were to ask them why they would do it, well, because they wanted to experience what it's like not to have anything. Maybe they had everything their entire life. And for those of us that have never had wishes, it wouldn't make sense to us, right? Because we're trying to get there. When they're trying to experience what we're experiencing. So for them, is it better? There's no judgment. It just means it's a different experience that they want to experience. They've already experienced having all this money, and they wish to experience the other side. And maybe you're on the other side and you wish to experience having all of this money on that side. And it's the same thing if you're being single. This is a classic example, because if you're single, you're still in a relationship. You're in a relationship with yourself. So you must be okay with yourself. You must be okay to be alone. You must be okay with being by yourself and not needing another relationship to fill you. Because what happens is when you become okay with yourself and you're completely satisfied, you know what? I'm good with myself. I'm great with the way things are. I would love to experience having a companion. But you know what? I'm really happy being alone. I'm really happy being by myself. Once you're in that place, your desire doesn't go away. You still have the desire. And once you're in that place where you're okay being single, Well, now the person that you really want to meet will show up. That dream boat that you've been looking for will show up. But you have to be a match. No dream boat is going to want to be with anyone that doesn't love themselves. It's not a match, right? So you've got to get to that place, and then it shows up. And that's something that people don't really understand, because when you are okay with where you are, your desires don't go away. If you stop feeling something, it doesn't mean that what you really want is going to go away, because your desires don't go away. They're there. It's just a simple shift, a mindset shift that you need to make to get yourself into the creative structure so you're able to create what it is that you want instead of avoiding what you don't want and staying stuck. So at the end of the day, you must resonate. You must become that person in the future that you're wishing to be, that person in the future that has what it is you desire. You have to become it. You must be it to see it. When there is no difference between your identity in the current state, your person where you are now, and your desired state, the person in the future that you wish to be, there is no resistance. You're just moving from point A to point B. Okay, I'm here now. I get it. This is the experience. I would love to experience more money. I would love to experience having a relationship. I've had this experience. I'm grateful for this experience. I am truly satisfied with what I have now, and I desire more. I desire different. The way you feel now has to be how you would feel in any future. If you feel any different than when you would feel in the future for you to have that desire, it's not going to come. You'll get close, but then you'll always snap back into where your focus is. Could you be the same person regardless of external circumstances? Could you? If you were to have something happen to you right now, could you be the same person and say, I'm grateful that that happened, I learned something? I would like to experience something different. Could you be happy now, independent of external circumstances, no matter what? And what's really interesting is if you think about all the things that happened to you in the past, all of the lessons that we've learned, all of the tragedies that may have happened, or the trauma that may have happened, how would that compare to you now? Because back then, it's completely different, right? And you wouldn't make the same mistakes. You wouldn't go back and do the same things you did before. You wouldn't create it again. Unless you start thinking about what happened to you, which would be in the problem structure, then you would create it again. But 9 times out of 10, we're not creating it for the most part. But we're not getting what we desire because we're stuck. We're not happy. We're not finding that moment in the future of where we need to be. You have to be it to see it. You must find that future moment, find that emotion, bring it to the current reality and live that emotion. And you live it in your mind, no matter what you see out there, no matter what is manifested in your reality, no matter what is happening, no matter the external circumstances that are happening. You have to find that emotion that you're trying to create, that happiness, the joy, the satisfaction, the eagerness. Because someone that had what you desire is not experiencing the emotion that you may be feeling right now, trying to create it. That's why you don't have it right now. You have to learn to own the moment, the present moment, 100% of the time. And one of the great ways to explain this is a quote by Stephen Covey. And basically it says, all things are created twice. Once in the invisible, once in the mental, in your mind. Then it's once in the physical world or the manifestation. This is where you have to be it to see it come from. So you imagine it in your mind. You put yourself in that person that you wish to become, that person that had the relationship, that person that has all the money you desire, that person that had the job that you desire, the career, the family, whatever it is that you desire. There is a version of you in the future that had it. So you might create it in your imagination first. And you must feel it in the essence in your body, the emotion. You've got to be able to bring the emotion into the present moment. And then once you do that, you'll be a match to what it is you're looking for. And if you hold that high enough, long enough, it will show up in your reality. And you got to have the patience, right? So when you start doing this work, let's say that you start, okay, I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to, get in there and I'm going to imagine it. I'm going to feel it. I'm going to get into the emotion. You have to carry it with you. It's a practice. And you got to practice it long enough, because what's going to happen is you're going to become more aware of the things that you don't want. And you got to practice yourself to stay into the end result of what it is that you wish to create. So no matter what shows up, you stay true to yourself and what you're trying to create until you get there. And I'll use the example of not enough money. Let's just say that you're starting to work on creating more money and you're getting yourself into the end result of having all the money you wish you could have. The next day, your bank account might still be negative. Then you might get a bunch of bills. Maybe you'll get taxed. And you might get, a few days or a few weeks. It might be really tough. You might be seeing all these things and when is it going to happen? But then you keep continuing to stay elevated in that moment. And then all of a sudden a check could arrive and pay for all the bills that, for the 3 weeks that you've had or however many days. But it takes patience and it takes diligence and a willingness to continue. We've had it in the problem statement. We've had a willingness to continue to go for the solution that keeps snapping us back to the problem. So you still have it in you. It just takes a bit of a shift. And of course, you got to believe. And I'm living proof that this stuff works. So what we're going to do is, here's the truth. You are a prisoner to the condition. You are not allowed to exist. You're literally a prisoner. So if you're focusing on solution, you are a prisoner to the problem. It literally owns you. And it will eventually manifest itself. But if you allow failure, you will succeed more. If you tell yourself, it's okay, I'm going to fail. It's only one possibility out of an infinite number of possibilities. I'm going to accept that possibility could happen. I'm going to allow it. You're not choosing it. You're allowing it. That's the difference. And if you allow failure, you will succeed more. If you allow yourself to be broke, if you're not worried about being broke and you just allow it, you're not choosing it. You're allowing it. You can finally be rich because you can choose to be rich. The resistance of being broke goes down and your creative power increases, because instead of being worried about being broke and making decisions from that place, you're fine with it. It's an experience. You're good with it. It's an experience. You want something different. So I'm going to create over here. If you allow yourself to feel overwhelmed, you will break through. Just let it be. If you are okay with being single, you're okay with being yourself. It's okay. This is an experience. It's all right. I'm okay with it. I'll deal with it. I've done it this far. I've done it this long. And I'm grateful for the experience. You're not choosing it, but you're allowing it. You will finally find the love you desire. If you can let go of control, you can find more safety. And this is a big one. If you are allowed to disappoint your family, you can actually finally find yourself. You decide, I'm going to make the decision no matter what my family thinks. And you choose to really do what you love, regardless of what your family said. And you're okay with whatever they say, because everyone has free will. And you're okay with it. You might find that your family is going to be okay with it. You might find that things actually work out for you, but you won't ever know until you give yourself a chance. You've got to choose what it is that you want to create. You have to be okay with what is. I'm okay with this moment, and find the gratitude of the moment. If you're dealing with a diagnosis, Nicole, you don't know what my diagnosis is. Well, I can guarantee you that you're watching this presentation, so you are 90% healthy. You can see, you can hear, you can speak. You have your hand, maybe you have your leg. Your heart's still beating. You can find help. And what it is your body is healthy because it heals itself. So rather than focusing on where you are right now and whatever disability or whatever diagnosis you may have, you can choose to say, you know what? I'm going to create health. And you look forward to health. And what happens is you're pulling yourself into a healthy spot. You are the beginning of the future you. And if you start allowing your body, you're okay with where you are and you're creating where you want to be. Now your body can heal itself and bring you where you want to go. But if you focus on the diagnosis and the pain or whatever else it brings, and I get it's uncomfortable, but if you focus on that, you're going to continue allowing your body to get sicker. You're disallowing yourself to have the health that you desire. You're in the problem structure. So you must decide how you want it to be instead. You must decide if I'm single, I desire to be in a relationship. I'm okay with being single. I choose to be in a loving, healthy relationship. I choose to be healthy. I'm okay with being broke. I choose to be rich. I choose to have loads of money in my bank account. I would love to experience that. I would love to experience what it's like to have unlimited wealth. I'm grateful for the experience I have now because now I know the difference. And the next step is to visualize how it would be and experience the emotion that you would feel if you had it. What would it feel like? And here's the key. I am truly satisfied with what I have now, and I desire more. So we're going to go through a quick visualization exercise to help you get into the creative structure. It's one of my most favorite things to do. You can do this as many times as you'd like, but you can only choose one thing that you wish to create. So I would like you to find a comfortable spot, and I want you to have in your mind one thing you wish to create, and I want you to choose it. I choose to have more money than I can spend. I choose to have a loving, healthy relationship. Whatever it is that you want to choose, I want you to choose it in your mind. And then you're going to close your eyes, or you can keep your eyes open. I recommend them having closed, but some people prefer to have them open. It's totally okay. So I want you to close your eyes, and we're going to take 3 deep breaths. We're going to go in the nose and out the mouth. And as you're breathing out, I want you to set the intention that you're going to relax. I want you to set the intention you're going to completely relax. And as you're breathing, put your attention onto the body and notice how you feel. Notice the body of where you're sitting. There's nothing you need to do with your breath. Just observe your breath going in and out. And I want you to step into the end result of what it is you wish to create. Become that person that has it all now. Really step into the experience. You are that person. You are that person with the wonderful relationship that you're seeking. You are that person with all the money that you can have. Whatever it is you wish to create, I want you to step into the experience and become that person. What would you be saying to yourself if you had the desire that you want? What would you be thinking? What kind of thought could you be thinking? If you had this experience right now, what would you get up in the morning and do? Who would you be with? What activities would you be doing? What emotion would you be feeling? I want you to really experience it, become that person, and really feel that emotion. Breathe it all in. Find a moment in the future where you are that person that has everything that you desire, that already had what it is you're trying to create. Step into it and feel the emotion. Be it and see it. And as you observe the feelings that are going through you right now, the emotion that you're feeling, I want you to look across your shoulder behind you. I want you to look at yourself sitting in the chair or the couch or where you're sitting, meditating. And notice, just observe, and notice the current reality that they are in. Notice the difference from the future reality you're in and the current reality of the person in the chair that's you. Just notice and observe. Notice the disequilibrium between the two realities. I want you to look at the person yourself behind you. What is the action that you would need to take, the next action that would take you one step closer to the reality that you're in now? What would you tell yourself? What would you tell yourself to do? What is that action step? And this action step could be a very small action step, but it's something that would help you move forward into the reality that you are wishing to create. And I want you to hold on to that action. Step back into the future you that has everything that you desire, that you're creating. Breathe it in. And don't let go of that action without opening your eyes or stepping out at the moment. I want you to bring your awareness slowly back to your breath. And as you bring your awareness to your breath, I want you to bring your awareness back into your body. And when you're ready, you can come on back, open your eyes. This moment that you're feeling right now, you are a perfect match to the reality you wish to create. Any idea that you receive, that action step that you have, you take it. Please take it. If it's a sip of water, if it's a hug for someone, if it's to do something for yourself, whatever the action step was that came to you in this meditation, that's the next action step you will need to take. And you carry this feeling with you, this emotion that you're feeling. Right now, you are the future you. You are the same reality. You're both the same. And it feels a lot different than being in the problem structure, doesn't it? And this, my friend, is the space that you want to be in to really create magic. This is where you choose to be the predominant creative force in your life instead of the predominant disintegrator. This is where you own your life. I hope you've enjoyed tonight's presentation. Feel free to use the meditation that we've done, the visualization exercise, as many times as you want. Remember, it does take some practice, but the same way you have practice being in the problem statement and it's automatic, eventually you can practice this enough and it will become automatic to you, and you will be an automatic creator, ready to create some real magic in your life. It is an honor to deliver these presentations to you. If you would like to visit me live, I have these live presentations every Wednesday at 7 p.m. I would love for you to join me on Meetup next week as we go through part 3 of the presentation. And you can also make sure you subscribe and like on my channel. I will be doing updates periodically. Every week, I will be uploading more content, so much like this, on my YouTube channel. And if you have any questions that you would like to talk to me, feel free to shoot me an email at nicole@attractinggrace.com. Thank you so much again, everyone. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.